game had Wests on the rack before they could really catch their breath. South Sydney led 17-2 after 30 minutes and looked set for a cricket score. However, West hit back with a try just before half-time, which shortened the score to 17-8. I'll ask Mario what Piggin said about that try in a minute. The front row of Davidson, Fennick and Roberts locked up the middle of the ruck. West became frustrated and started to make mistakes. And then with Coleman feeding magnificent passes, Jura at 5'8", looking like a lifetime pivot, and the reluctant fullback Neil Baker constantly turning them around with great kicks, West were eventually outplayed 29-14. That was 5 tries to 2. And there's Bronco Jura going in for the first one. What did your coach say about that try you let them in for it just before half-time?
Well, he was obviously very disappointed. We had him on the rack and we give him a little bit of a sniff, and that's what we were worried about with West, because they never give up, and George just told us to get our act together and prepare for a tough second half.
Now, Baker's kicking game really worked magnificently. Not that it hasn't been working all year, but he really found the line with a lot of long ones yesterday. 3 I can remember of 50 yards and more, and they really break the opposition's back, don't they?
Well, Neil's probably... I honestly think Neil's the best kicker in the game in terms of goal kicking and all-round skill in kicking. He can land it on a 10-cent piece, Neil.
Certainly can. We'll talk about Coleman too. He had a good game, but I thought Baker could have scored that try himself there, and I'm always against an additional pass being risked.
Yeah, it's a risk thing, but fortunately it worked out all right for us, and Neil performed quite capable there.
Now, there was another try out of character to South Sydney, because Burns was able to score that through what looked like thin defence, and he'd been tight as a rock up until that moment.
So we can't afford to give them tries away, Rex, because once we start playing the top-class sides, if you give away cheap tries like that, you've got no hope.
Look at that pass. That was a cheeky little pass, and what a beauty. That's worth a look later on. We'll show you that again, because you don't see skills like that. Big bruiser Clark came on very heavy and very strong there. And
this was a bit disappointing for us. We sort of hung off. We were expecting him to call hell type of thing, you know.
Yeah. But he was still moving forward. He hadn't accepted the tackle, had he? Now, Epifania seemed to get to this. What did the referee rule? Did he really drop it?
Yeah, he quite clearly dropped it, Rex, and it was a good decision on the referee's part, because it was very hard and awkward to see.
We'll talk about this incident a little later on too, because it astonished me to see that Ian Shivett give the time-off signal there. We'll come back to that in a moment. That's not a captain's prerogative to do that, but he got 5 minutes, I think, for cheek. And I think he was told to look at the referee when he was talking to him, and Shivett declined to do that. Another magnificent pass there from Coleman to get Moon in. Moon's got plenty of pace when he gets in the clear, hasn't he?
David's been a great acquisition to our side, and he's a good, strong defensive player, and he's been attacking very well for us.
He certainly has. Let's have a look at the 2 magic passes that I classify as exceptional. And this was the first one coming up from Coleman. Now watch Jura. Now Coleman gets behind the defence of Clark and pops the ball between that of another player. So really it was an astonishing bit of skill. And that was beautifully taken. And here's another beautiful pass, just runs a few paces, holds the pass up, and Moon's on the burst right in between 2 Western Suburbs players without a hand being laid on him, and there was no try there. It was man for man. And those are the exceptional things that happen. This is one of the funniest incidents I've seen for a long while. I suggest, Mario, you might have had a bit of a giggle about this, because you have in the past been in trouble with referees. Now, Ian Shivett several weeks ago got himself into a situation with another referee where he said he would never get involved. He actually gave away the captaincy on that day. And here he is again. Now watch him here. He won't look at the referee. He's looking away, and then he signals to the timekeeper that he wants time off. And at that point, the referee said, well, I'll give you time off, take 5.
Yeah, well, Ian was just getting a bit heated, and we were in front by a fair way, and the game was just about all over, and he was just a bit disappointed, I suppose. In the heat of the moment, he just talked a bit too much, and the referee
I think it's all to do with the way you talk. I mean, you can say a captain can go to a referee at any time during the game, provided he does it in such a fashion that he's not going to offer any offence.
Well, it's important you get on well with the referee, because you've got to be able to communicate to him, and fortunately the referees these days are talking to you like men, and you can have a good conversation and sort things out, because we've got to control the game.